Let's take another look at that stock price prediction that we put on Pfizer based on a stock chart pattern that we found on its chart. Let's jump in. Okay, so I've got Pfizer pulled up in TradingView. I am on daily candlesticks. You can see we've got a lot going on here, a lot of squigglies, a lot of waves, and I'm looking all the way back to 2020, but the size of this stock chart pattern that we're playing here is so massive that we have to zoom out even further than that. So we're gonna pull this back all the way to pretty close to the beginning of 2019 is really what we need to be looking at, because we need to confirm that there is a proper setup for this particular stock chart pattern. And if you don't see it yet, I have the neckline already drawn out on Pfizer, but if you're not familiar with what this is, we're talking about an inverted or reverse head and shoulders here. So a head and shoulders pattern is simply just kind of like a drawing of a shoulder, a head, and another shoulder, and then that reverses the action to the downside. Wow, that really does not look good, does it? Yikes to all of the male viewers out there, which is about 92% of my viewer base. I think you know what I'm talking about here. Anyway, let's get rid of that. This is an inverted head and shoulder, so it's basically that upside down, right? So you got that shoulder right here, you got the head right here, you got your another shoulder, and then ideally you're gonna head to the upside above the neckline, retrace to the neckline, bounce off of it, and head to the upside. So this is a bullish case for Pfizer. This is a good sign, good stock chart pattern, and it has a high rate of success as well. Head and shoulders patterns are some of the most successful stock chart patterns to trade. But we need to pull this chart all the way back to confirm that we are in a bear trend on Pfizer, to confirm that this is indeed a inverted head and shoulders, because an inverted head and shoulders is a reversal pattern, meaning it reverses a bear trend into a bull trend. So we needed to make sure that we have that bear trend coming into the inverted head and shoulders, which we do. We can see all the way back to 2019. There's a slight bear trend going there, and then we've got our bearish action coming all the way down into the head, and then it inverts it to the upside, right? So none of that is the actual head and shoulders, so I'm going to get rid of that so that we can draw our actual head and shoulders a little bit more clean than that. So now that we know that we have a bear trend going into the chart, we've kind of confirmed that this can be an inverted head and shoulders. We want to make sure that it is, right? We have our shoulder, it comes back up to the neckline and touches. We have our head, it comes back up to the neckline, pretty close. I mean, that is so close, I'm gonna say, you know what, that's close enough for me. I'll take that. And then we have our shoulder, it comes back up and touches. And we've got a little bit of this weird extra shoulder thing going on. That's not normal, that is a little worrisome, but after that plays out, we do get that action above the neckline that we do typically look for in a head and shoulders or inverted head and shoulders. So that's exactly what we were looking for. It comes back to the neckline, touches the neckline or gets very close to it. In this case, we are very close, and then it should start to head to the upside soon. So this is playing out pretty much exactly how we would want a inverted head and shoulders to play out. I mean, it is almost spot on. The only there's two things that are just not quite perfect on this, but it's okay. The first thing that I mentioned was in between the head and the right shoulder, it doesn't quite come up to the neckline. That's okay, because it does come up pretty close. It is quite close. And then we have this action right here after the right shoulder forms. It kind of starts to take a little too long to get above this neckline. I think that's okay too, because we do eventually get above the neckline, and then we put in this hump over the neckline that is just perfect, exactly what we were looking for in this kind of a setup. That's the exact kind of price action that we would think would happen after an inverted shoulders breaks through a neckline. You go up above, you kind of make another shoulder, sort of, but it's, you know, it's upside down, which is now right side up. You know, it's getting crazy, right? But hopefully you understand what I'm getting at there. We got this shoulder, and then flip them, and we got another shoulder above the neckline. It comes back, it touches the neckline, and then we shoot to the upside. So this is playing out pretty dang close to exactly how we would want an inverted head and shoulders to work. So are we going to head up from here? It's hard to say. Let's zoom in a little bit closer on where we are at today. We are getting pretty close to this neckline. I think, you know, there is a little bit more to go. If Pfizer really wanted to touch that neckline, then we would be heading down into the low $36 range. So, I mean, there's not a ton more room here to go, maybe 3%. To the downside, but not a ton, right? We closed at $37.05. We might get down all the way to $36.05. That would be where we would be touching the neckline and then heading up from there. Of course, you know, this is a stock chart pattern. It's not 100%. None of this stuff is, so we could absolutely break down under the neckline and it would be very bad news from there. I just don't think that's going to happen because I play the probabilities here, and head and shoulders patterns have a extremely high probability of playing out. So we are getting so close to the end of this head and shoulders pattern that I think the probability there is pretty high that we are going to see it play out. So I do think that we are either going to head up from here, or we're going to head down just a little bit more, maybe 3% at the most, touch that neckline, and then head up from there. So let me show you an example of a inverted head and shoulders that worked out just perfectly recently, and that is Bitcoin. Let me show you Bitcoin. We had a stock chart pattern play out over the last 2 years on Bitcoin. Actually, 2 stock chart patterns play out because a cup and handle and an inverted head and shoulders can look extremely similar on stock charts. The only difference is a cup and handle is a continuation pattern, whereas an inverted head and shoulders pattern is a reversal pattern. So if you have something like that playing out, really it's just deciding, okay, was that stock chart in a bull trend prior to that pattern playing out, or was it in a bear trend? So I have Bitcoin pulled up. You can see I have the cup and handle already mapped out from a previous video that I made. It's pretty clear there's a cup and handle there, but check this out. If we delete that, then you can start to see there is also an inverted head and shoulders here, right? So take a look at this. You've got shoulder here, head here, little tiny shoulder. You come up above the neckline, you retrace to the neckline like I was saying I think we're doing on Pfizer right now. You kiss it, and then you head to the upside. Huge move to the upside on Bitcoin. And we can measure that huge move to the upside on Bitcoin and Pfizer by measuring the depth of the head. So let's go back down to Pfizer and do that real quick. We'll give you stock price prediction, a price target here, right? So we were just looking at Bitcoin. Now you can kind of see how this is also playing out on Pfizer pretty similarly, right? That shoulder, that head, that shoulder. You got this little weird action here that I was telling you about, but then we come above, come back down and kiss, and then we should head to the upside just like Bitcoin did, right? So let's go ahead and make that price target. I've done this a couple of times in previous videos now, but I'll do it again because you know what? I love doing this stuff. So let's measure from the bottom of the head to the neckline. We'll give it a, oh, now it's pretty close to $11 exactly. So we'll call it $11 exactly. This price movement right here was 40%. So let's take a look at $11 exactly from wherever we think we're going to break out, right? So is that right now? Is that after we touch the neckline? Let's measure from the neckline to be a little, scroll up a little bit to give us some room. We'll say we're gonna come all the way down and touch this neckline at 36 I don't know, 11. Let's call 36.11. We'll add exactly $11 to that, or close to it, because it's hard to hit it. Oh, I did get it exactly. Cool. And we get a price target of $47.11. So that is what I'm seeing here, targeting the $47 range on Pfizer after we touch the neckline. Now, we may not go down any further from here and touch that neckline. We may start to head up from here, and that would be totally fine. I think we need to wait and see, you know, once we start that upward trajectory, that would be your buying opportunity at that point, with a price target in the $47 range. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be targeting $47 because inverted head and shoulders patterns have a very high probability of hitting their price target once they have met confirmation that they are in the bull trend after the pattern has played out. So we are just waiting for that upswing from this last little bit of the pattern. Once that happens, we are in confirmation, and that's the time to enter that trade. Okay, so once we enter that trade, we'll be targeting $47. Yeah, a lot of money to be made here, probably 25%-ish, because we need to wait for that confirmation. So you're not going to get that full 30% on that $11, but you can still get pretty close to it if you just wait. If you enter pretty early after confirmation. So watch out for Pfizer, guys. Wait for that kind of that swing up a little bit. Once you see that, I think that's the time to get in. All that said, I am not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. I have been trading stocks for a long time, and I have done well with it, but nothing official in these videos, okay, guys? So don't sue me, bro. This is for entertainment purposes only. But we are making money here, and we're having fun with it. So that's what I've got for Pfizer. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber yet, just know we do stock chart pattern analysis here, technical analysis. I make stock price predictions based on stock chart pattern analysis and price targets that we put on charts based on these patterns, just like you saw in this video. So if you like that kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button. If you're not a subscriber yet, leave a comment down below. I'll see you there and in the next video. Thanks, guys.